Hi, welcome to Forgotten Legends of Sound, and today is actually going to be my pick, and let's go ahead and do Biomechanical with Empires of the World. I got into this album, man, I think probably in like 2008 maybe, somewhere in that area, and I remember picking it up from Sound Exchange. It was pretty cheap. And it's funny because it's like, I'm not the big like Pantera fan. I'm not really into the groove metal type stuff or whatever. But there was something about this album that just really stood out. And I think the main thing is, the vocalist, when he switched to gutturals and also those high shrieks and everything. But also the drummer. I really like the drummer for this band. And so the songs and everything, they are a bit like methodical and everything. Almost like a prog metal band would be. But yeah, it changes up a lot and everything, but yeah, it's a pretty solid album, and honestly I feel like it's really underrated. And our channel, we do talk a lot about underrated artists and everything, and I think it's just kind of criminal how many people don't talk about this album. I guess they only really had the 3 albums and everything, and then they just kind of disbanded or whatever. But it's like, hey man, we're gonna talk about them, we're gonna keep them alive, and today we're gonna go ahead and do like a analysis, go through every song, talk about it, rate it and everything. But viewers, if you don't have this, like, go out and support the artist, buy the album and everything. I'm excited to do this because I've been thinking about doing it for a long time and just wanting to branch out a little bit from my normal like prog power type of picks and everything. So but what do you think, bro?
So I'm one of these people that have probably criminally underrated this because I don't really I remember you playing it around me, but it never really caught me a whole lot, you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. Like I remember some songs from this album, but it'll be interesting to do like the entire thing. And I remember you, me, and Chad went through it one time with lyrics like a few years ago. So it's like I do remember what they sound like and what they're going for, but I know that I'm gonna get like lost like a lot in this because some of it's so frenetic and crazy. I was telling Kevin before the video, I was saying this is like Watchtower on steroids, which is already kind of a big deal or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see what clicks, what doesn't click, what I'm going in with open mind, seeing how I enjoy it,
Hopefully, for those of you who are Biomechanical fans, already, like, this video's for you.
This for you guys.
So, let's just jump into it, man, with Enemy Within.
Cool. All right, so Biomechanical. Here's Enemy Within. Oh, they're going hard right away. Madness.
They'll bring up players.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And they do have some extra, like, orchestral type stuff added in and crap, so there's some of that as well.
Really crazy.
There isn't much stuff.
Like Event Horizon type of horror.
What's going on? What's going on here? All right, so I'm gonna go first. Man, that's such a great freaking song. It's a great track one. You know, it gets you pumped up and everything. When he's spitting out those lines really quick,
Yeah.
like that section is always
That's
my
always
favorite.
fun.
Like
Yeah,
you know,
I
just
like
because
that.
it's just freaking rocking out and everything.
Yeah.
You know, man, I think I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I don't think it's quite a 10 for me. You know, there is a lot of like layered type stuff going on, especially with the orchestral type additions and everything.
Yeah.
And so it definitely takes a bit to pick it all out and everything. It's hard to process all the pieces and everything.
Hard to
but,
process.
you know. but I think it's a banger opener. You know, I love his vocals and everything, his delivery and everything. His high notes, his freaking, you know, just I think it's just fantastic, man. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Yeah, I give it a 7.5. I thought it was a great song, but some of it was a little bit chaotic for me. I couldn't really follow it too well. Part of it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Nevermore a little bit, but way more intense and way more just complex and a lot more kind of going on. But I did think it was good, and I did like that verse section probably the most. The chorus was a little bit weaker for me, and some of the soloing was pretty cool though. Like some of the it was an intense, like I get it why it's number one, because it's a good intense pump you up track.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe if I listen to it more, it could grow on me more. I'm not really sure. But yeah, those are probably my thoughts. Should we move on to the Empires of the Worlds?
Yeah, let's do it.
Since I was 5, huh?
Yeah.
Like mechanical nightmare, futuristic stuff.
Since I was 5, I had a
violating. What do you think of this one, man?
I think I'm going to give this one a 7. I did like some of the riffing, and some of the groove to the riffing was pretty good. And the chorus was like pretty good, but it didn't. I feel like the first track has more growth for me, potential for growth for me, because so much happened in that first one that I kind of feel like, man, I kind of missed some of it because it was just so chaotic. This one is definitely more straightforward, and it's a good song. Like, I enjoy it, but maybe a little less than the first one. But I don't know. But it got me headbanging more, whereas the first one, like, it was more sporadic and stuff. But but it was more cool too. So yeah.
I'm going to give this one a 9.5 also. I think I like this one similar to track 1. I think I love that whole like bridge part, you know, when he's just kind of like, he's doing more of like that kind of Ralph Sheepers, Rob Halford kind of shrieks or whatever, like when he's just like, all I need is war, all I need is hatred from the, you know, that whole part is so freaking great and everything. And I like during the chorus, or sorry, during the solo section, you know, they kind of go back to that whole like groove or whatever, where it's like, like they kind of like go back to certain rhythms and things in either the verse section going into the chorus. I like when bands do that stuff, when a solo section is happening and then the drummer and everybody kind of takes back to kind of a rhythmic sort of thing that they've been doing elsewhere in the song. Like, I think that's pretty cool. And then, you know, going back to I fight the empires of the world. Like, it's I think it's a pretty solid song. It's great. Yeah. And, I think the drummer did a great job on that song, you know.
Cool. You ready for Assaulter?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, whoops. Empires. His freaking name.
But they cram a lot in like 4 minutes. Like, that was only like 4 minute song, and they kind of cram a lot in there. So
true. Here is Assaulter. How's it go again? Beginning.
Activate, infrared, delocate, relocate, infiltrate, instigate, penetrate.
I remember this one. Yeah.
Activate, infrared, delegate, relocate, infiltrate, instigate, penetrate, violate, if it fucks, if I'm out, sit there, into death, into land, come on now, no escape, I fall out, so you that, do what you die, you yell, you cry, you swing me under.
This one's actually pretty dope.
Come on.
Man, it's been probably like, oh man, maybe 9 months since I've gone through this album, so it's been a little bit. But like, I mean, it hits really well. It's definitely high energy, you know.
Yeah.
That song, it's so good, but I don't feel like I like it as much as 1 and 2. I'm gonna give it a 9. This song definitely grew on me over time. When I first heard the album and everything, this was one of the weaker ones for me. But over time, it's definitely like grown on me. It definitely has like a nice like rhythm to it and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always add that extra note to kind of throw you off a little bit. You know, there's always like little things to kind of trick you up a little bit, but it's still a great song, very cohesive. I do think the solo section maybe
Like
lacks a little bit. Yeah, I like the solo section on the first 2 songs more, but anyways, what do you think?
I would agree about the solo section. I thought the chorus was maybe a little more catchier than some of the first 2 choruses. I did like the verse section is just really fun. It's really, you know, they do a good job at painting the intensity of this futuristic sci-fi madness or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very, what's the word? Like very primal. It sounds very primal and just like brutal and stuff. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I give it an 8. A little bit better than track 1, I think. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Cool. Yeah, let's move on. These next 2 are a little bit like slower and
Relinquish Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you got to end that song. There's no other way that song's going to end.
Yeah, what do you think of that one?
You know, I feel like it's hard for me to judge this album because it's kind of manic.
Yeah.
It's kind of out there. The songs do make a lot of twists and turns. That one didn't grip me as much as the other ones, but dude, the John guy, his vocals are pretty darn good. Like the dude is pretty versatile. He could do a lot with his voice, so that's pretty cool. I'm kind of like you in the sense that I'm not the hugest groove metal fan, you know, that slower kind of groove vibe stuff, you know. But it was still a good song. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, I think probably a 6, you know. Good, but nothing that's like, oh man, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. This is a lesser song for me, you know. It's like I like what they're going for in this song. I especially like the talking part and everything. I like the drummer. It reminds me of like, for whatever reason, I think of like the Snot drummer, where it's like sometimes when he's like just using his hi-hat and everything, it just sounds so tasteful and everything. I like when he's hitting his snare, and then when he moves on to that ride cymbal, it just sounds so great. But I'm not the biggest fan of like the chorus and stuff, and also the last bit of the song, you know, is kind of just there for me. Doesn't really do as much impact, but yeah, I like that moody kind of talking part the most in the song. So yeah.
Cool. Should we move on to Long Time Dead?
Yeah, let's do it. This one's also kind of
Long
quiet.
Time Dead. Yeah, some of these do sound a bit like
This is Queensryche, right?
Queensryche,
It sounds like Queensryche.
And the drumming totally is like Fates Warning type.
Don't give me that
I should listen to a lot more.
This also sounds a little bit like grunge.
This is like acid bath stuff, like Chad likes, you know.
Yeah, like a little more straightforward and crap.
It sounds like this would have come out in like 94. Yeah, I agree. You know? And I'm like, yeah, this sounds very 94.
It's definitely a grunge vibe. Dead. Oh, he said it.
He said it.
I'm gonna give that one a 6. This one probably like one of my least favorites on the album. It's kind of more straightforward and everything. It's fine in the context of the album and everything. It's just not that interesting. Some of the transitions and stuff I don't really care for as much, and the chorus doesn't do as much for me. But I still like the song. It's just a little bit above average for me.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's fairly average for me. I give it a 5. It just sounds like something from like 1994 or something. Like it just sounds like a kind of just a normal sort of groove metal song, you know? I don't know. There wasn't a ton, like there wasn't really anything that I like hated, but there wasn't anything that I loved either. It was just kind of like just I don't know. Yeah, just kind of regular, I guess, for me.
I do feel like 6 and on things start kind of getting back
Picking up
into
again.
yeah, because it starts getting more like just back to the more complicated,
speedy and crazy,
and just a little more interesting. you know?
Yeah, cool.
I like this pattern in Regenerated, but anyways.
Regenerated,
Yeah.
the drum pattern.
Yeah.
I will listen.
Yeah.
Here's Regenerated. This one's short.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get like
I like triplets and stuff.
my broad.
Proud of you.
I know my
I'm
broad.
proud of you. That swinging vibe, yeah.
Gosh, I'm
Dude, Regenerated is freaking sick, man.
It's
I
pretty
like
darn good.
Regenerated,
It
dude.
was
Regenerated
something.
is so good,
It
man.
was something.
Like the drums, dude, freaking awesome.
Drums.
And the guitar.
And they do the 6/8 time thing.
and that little 6/8 section, you know. Can't stop me.
I'm like 8.5 or a 9. I'll give it a 9.
Thank you.
I'll give it a 9. That was a really cool song. Some of the riffs reminded me of like some Symphony X riffing or something, you know?
Yeah,
like some of the
there's
riffs like in Underworld or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had. I guess it's my turn, right? Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
you're the evil.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I'm
It
just
had
singing
them.
along. I'm just singing
worries.
along, and
I just wasn't sure. Yeah, dude, that riff, like, I can't remember it now, but like, it just had awesome riffs in this song.
was it the whole?
I don't know. It was,
was it that part?
I think so. It was the part before the Regenerated chorus. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, that riff was so good because it gives you headbang and stuff, and the chorus has a good groove to it too.
Yeah.
But I wish the chorus was a little bit stronger. Like I wish the chorus was catchier. That's one thing I'm noticing about this album is I feel like the choruses don't really catch me all that much, and I feel like I kind of want something really like catchy and like, you know, sing songy
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know. But
man.
with that being said, like this does have some pretty cool riffs and stuff and just some good ideas into it. So
Yeah.
I give Regenerated a 9.
Man. So I was thinking there'd probably only be like maybe 110 on here, but there might be 2. I think I'm going to give Regenerated a 10, man. I like Regenerated. And the thing is like one of my favorite drummers is Johan Langell. He deals a lot with like triplets
DGM
and
drummer.
everything. This freaking guy, don't pull that crap, man. You know.
I know,
And
I
it's
know.
just
He
kinda
is.
like-
I like pretending.
Yeah.
Just for the
Johan-
audio, I like pretending that I don't know.
He
Just
plays
to-
a lot with triplets and patterns and things that are just like no other drummer really does.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's like an he thinks outside of the box, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like this drummer thinks outside of the box too. Like I love just that whole like da 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 that quick little da da then the you know it's just so great.
Yeah,
And
he's
so
already doing the double bass before, but then he adds in that quick little triplet in there.
It's such a fun pattern and everything
Yeah.
that it's so great, man. I think Regenerated is freaking awesome, man. And it I don't know.
It surprised me. I didn't really remember that one too.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
I remembered 1. I remembered like 3. I think maybe 2.
Yeah.
And I
And
remember
then the
Truth
rest of the
Denied.
album, yeah, Truth. I
And-
like Truth Denied a lot,
But
too.
like I didn't
yeah.
remember Regenerated. So
Yeah,
that was a nice
Regenerated
little
is.
surprise.
I feel. Can you? I feel bad because I feel like I.
Can I play it again or?
No, no, no.
I'm messing.
I mean, I'm fine with that, but no. Could you change number 1 to 10 for me? Because I feel bad giving Regenerated a 10. I feel like Enemy Within also just really gets me pumped up and everything. I play
yeah.
Enemy Within a lot.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I'm like driving around or whatever, it's just that sometimes Enemy Within, it kind of bothers me with all the overlaying, you know,
The orchestral random
yeah,
stuff
all
and
that
all
stuff
that.
kind of bothers me a little bit. But Regenerated is like quick and straight to the point, and I really enjoy that. And so
That's true.
But anyways, yeah,
Cool. Should we move on to DNA Metastasis?
yep, let's do it.
Metastasize.
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 Dang. Oh, there's a great one too.
Like some of these kinds of riffs are really cool, you know?
Yeah, they added an extra note there. Yeah.
that jumps into survival like right away.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for this one, I think I'm going to give this one a 9. I think I like it similar to Assaulter, you know. Great rhythm and everything. Again, I like the drums and everything. I like the way they pause and just John, 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 John. You know, it does kind of, I don't know. These songs go so quick, and it's funny because usually with albums and everything, the middle section is kind of drags, and the middle's, you know, whatever. After track 4 and 5, it just freaking goes, you know, and I like that. You know, I can appreciate that. So it's just this album's such a pleasure to go through, and it just, there's always something interesting going on. And so anyways, yeah, what do you think of that one?
I gave it a 7.5, maybe on par with the first album. One thing I'm kind of noticing is I feel like the vocalist kind of does the same things over and over again, and it's starting to kind of like lose me a bit. Like he keeps doing like a da na 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 da na 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 da na na da na na, like he's doing that a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the rest of the album and see if he keeps doing that, because like I was like, this chorus is a little more musical than maybe some of the other choruses.
Yeah,
but for some reason
you're noticing certain things that
they
kinda,
keep like tendencies that they're doing,
and
then they keep adding in extra things like so endless, relentless. Like, why add that? You could have just ended it at transcending, descending. Be a normal band, just the 4 bars or whatever. You don't need to add another two lines. Like, it didn't add anything to it. You know, I don't know. It's almost like there's all these superfluous type things that they keep adding in with words and stuff, like cramming words and stuff in. Yeah, and I feel like that might be that may be why this album has probably had trouble even clicking with me for the longest time, because there's so many random, like, filler words almost that are just on. I don't know. But let me redeem myself a little bit. I do like the guitarist a lot. I think the guitarist is great. This guy, I don't know his name, but this dude knows how to write some really great riffs.
And there's 2 guitarists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's like a drummer,
both of those
2
dudes.
guitarists, a bassist, and a vocalist. But I think the vocalist might even do a little guitar too. Maybe.
Like all the guitars on the album are pretty cool, and I feel like they do a good job at like kind of just making these riffs that they know how to get you to headbang, you know, which is like really like that's pretty important when you're a freaking metal band to get people headbanging, you know. So I like the riffs a lot on this album. I think that might be the highlight for the album for me.
And that's why I'm a bit like kind of surprised, because I kind of feel like this album would totally be that sort of cult classic that people would be like, dude, Biomechanical, they were rocking, dude, 2005 Empires of the World.
Yeah.
But it's silence, and I'm just kind of confused by that. I'm really confused on why this album is so just unknown and not talked about, you know, especially with everything going on. Yeah. Like, it's... I don't get it, man. Yeah. Like, I just don't get it.
I don't know either. Yeah.
But that's why we do this channel, so that we can like showcase some albums and talk about it, you know.
It is pretty... It's better than... These scores are higher than I thought they would be, actually.
Oh, so, okay. I actually thought they'd be about right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, 6s and 7s mostly, you know.
I mean, there was 1 6. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the album goes for you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like this album is a bit overload, though. Like the same thing with like Unexpect. Like that album is overload. This album is very much like overload because there's so much crammed in like 3.5 minutes and stuff. That is just kind of like you could walk away feeling like, okay, what did I listen to? A bunch of noise. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And so
like it's like trying to like drink an ocean, you know. Like it's just so much coming all at once that you just it's difficult to just get it all. And I'm probably experiencing some of that too, to be fair.
The way that I learned this album was like listening to the drums and stuff and figuring out the patterns and everything and then like putting it all together, because this isn't really like a lyric album for me. I'm not like, oh yeah, that lyric and the, you know, intravenously through me to machines and whatever. You know, I don't really, you know, I like the aggression of the vocalist and everything, but the words themselves don't do a whole lot for me. But I like all the patterns and things. Piecing together all the patterns that they're putting together is just really enjoyable for me.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
yeah.
Been a long time dead. No.
You ready for Survival?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here is Survival. Some of these beginning of the songs I really did. They put a smile on my face because they're just like brutal. Like, just like, I'm like,
This feels a little bit like Side 3 from you.
This sounds like Strapping on That, sort of.
Yeah, a little SYL.
Alien or something.
Yeah, I can see some SYL. This feels so groove metal to me. This feels so like, you know.
This sounds like a Strapping Bad song.
Yeah. I can see some SYL stuff for sure. Dude, this feels so like groove metal. Yeah, a little messy with that madness. I'm a survivor. I think this is you, huh?
Yeah, that song had the most Strapping Lad vibes to it.
Yeah, I could
felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
I'm
that
sorry,
on like Alien or something.
I
you
keep
know?
interrupting you.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm thinking like a 6.5 or a 7. I did like it, but
Yeah.
I didn't like love it. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going 6.5. It is good, but maybe it's I did like the chorus, but I don't know. I guess I just want a little bit more from like the vocals. I don't know. Sometimes they feel a little manic and all over the place, and it's
Yeah.
like there's not like a melody to hang on to. It's just kind of, but I do enjoy the instrumentation, so I don't know. Yeah, I think it's 6.5. What do you think?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I do like this one. It's a step down from like tracks 6 and 7 for me, you know. But I do like this one, especially I do like when they're doing that whole section where he says that those 4 lines and then it just goes back near the.
That's true. That riff was pretty freaking
like
good.
that middle section, kind of
Yeah.
solo section, was actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know.
that riff's- maybe
and I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, now I'm interrupting you.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'll raise mine to 7 because I forgot about that middle section.
Yeah.
That was a really cool riff. Yeah, I'm gonna go raise it to a 7.
Like the song is really headbangable, you know, but it definitely had like some SYL vibes and everything, but it also had like some of that groove metal. Like it felt the most like groove metal kind of song to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything.
Yeah,
It's just
the thing.
just a thing. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, not my favorite, but definitely
Still
it's still a solid song. Yeah.
You ready
So.
for Existence?
Yeah, I kind of feel like this song is the most like 2 and 9. I feel like are the most like singles or whatever. So,
Easiest for people to get into.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm curious what you think because this one is I feel like it's really groove metally. But I'm curious if this one catches you or not. You know, because like this area of the album you just never really
remember.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm curious.
To be fair, I don't remember most of the album.
Yeah,
but what can you do?
But yeah, so I'm curious what you think of this song.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Here is Existence. Saying it's the most accessible, and they straight up you go like 5/4 timer or something, you know? Like, okay, now it's normal, but I know it was fun, but it was like really like odd time signature in the beginning. Because that rhythm section is more.
the truth denied. The truth denied.
What do you say, bro?
You know, this one, I honestly, I like this song, but I feel like this one has like kind of like some of the most flaws than some of the other songs. I'm going to give it an 8 because the highs just feel so good to me and stuff, but some of the transitions and stuff really bother me. It's funny because like I was telling Ian like in the middle of the solo section and stuff, the first half of the solo, I'm kind of like, come on guys, you know, but when they pause and they're just like, you know, and soloing while they're doing that rhythm, I'm like, yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. You know, and it's so, I don't know. It's just, yeah, going back into the whole like pain, this fear, this standing, you know, it's just some of the transitions bug me a little bit. I don't think it's a perfect song, but I do like this song. And again, I just feel like that's such a good riff, that whole you know, it's just, yeah. Anyways, that's kind of my thoughts. But
I felt like this song felt a little long to me. Didn't feel as engaging, although I did like that riffing that you're talking about. That was kind of the highlight, but the rest of the song felt kind of just the whole like "It Can't Be Undone" part section is just right kind before, of really drags, and they do that like 4 times or something, and it's just, I don't know. It doesn't have as much as maybe some of the other tracks do for me. I think maybe it's average because it's like some parts pull it down from average, but then some parts pull it up from average. Yeah. So then it averages out to be an average, you know?
Go ahead and change mine to a 7.5 because I do think that the chorus isn't as interesting for me. Like I could go like regenerated. Yeah, I could do that over and over. Yeah. Reincarnated. You know, and so, but I do feel like Existence has the makings of some kind of song to pull you in just because of that freaking riff, man. That just groovy riff is so good, you know. So and I like the talking part. Go ahead and move mine back to an 8 because I like the talking part, you know. I don't flow out of me. I know I never get like it's so good. It's just that some of the transitions and the bridge and the chorus, I have issues. I'll give it an 8 because I still enjoy this song, you know, and so but anyways, it's just that riff, that grooviness, and that talking section is so great. So I love Truth Denied, man. Let's do it.
Here we go. I know this one's pretty intense.
Yeah, I like this one.
Denied.
All right, bro. What do you think of this one?
Trust me. This is like a 7.5 or something.
Oh,
It's kind
bro, you letting me down, man. You letting
You bring me down.
You bring me down, man.
Yeah, I think it's fun, but it also doesn't do a lot for me.
Dang.
But
I thought this one had a
cool.
chance for you.
Yeah.
Thought it had a chance.
I don't know, dude. Regenerated was
Regenerated
really
is great.
This one is really fast and intense and stuff, but it's just, I don't know, not a lot to it. It's fun, but I'll give it a 7. What do you
I'm
think?
giving it a 10, man. Truth Denied is freaking fantastic. I love Truth Denied, man. I like the drums and everything. I just like the... You know, it just, I don't know, the intensity and everything is so great and everything. And every time it's just like, never gonna say for my believer. Can't trust me, won't trust me. Like, it keeps going and keeps going. And it's just so great, man. And dude, every time he's shrieking Truth Denied, it's just so freaking great, man. Like, this is another song that is great to just blast in the car while you're driving around and stuff.
Yeah.
And when yelling out Truth Denied, it's so great. So,
At 3 in the morning.
yeah, at 3 in the morning, you know, and the neighbors are singing, you know, everyone's Truth Denied. Like, it's just so great, man.
I love it when a community comes together like that.
I love it, yeah. So,
Should we do
anyway.
Absolute? We're going to do Absolution 1 and 2 together. Since
Yeah,
2 is
yeah.
like 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, this one's more of like a kind of instrumental thing, but there is some talking stuff. But anyways, yeah.
So here's the beginning, the first half of the Absolution.
real quick,
quadrilogy.
Yeah, quadrilogy. Before we jump into it, though, like, is this album like... I've played this album for you so many times in the past and everything. Like, I don't believe you're ever going to listen to it on your own. I don't really believe you're ever really going to get into it. But, like, is it not as bad as, like...
No, it is a
like,
pretty good record. It's got some things going against it for me, which is being so groove metal oriented, which is a genre that I just don't go to.
And
like, at all.
I'm not a groove
Yeah,
metal guy
you're
either.
not a groove
Like,
metal guy
I'm
either.
not, yeah.
But this is like the one exception that makes it work for you.
Yeah.
It has some things going for it, or going against it, as far as like what I normally listen to.
And
you
for
know,
it.
and for it too. True. No, I do think it's a good record, and yeah, I don't know. I could see myself listening to it on my own, but man, I think it would be one of those days where it's more a curiosity of like, I kind of want to go through all 3 of their albums and really kind of just try to pay, like, kind of more of a, there's some artists where I feel more of a enjoyment from listening, and then there's other artists where I feel more of an enjoyment of discovery of like, I want to hear I want to hear something that I normally don't listen to, you know. I want something that's different, and this would fit probably that category of listening for me, you know. So I could
Yeah, sure. Because like this is the kind of album that I feel like you could really discover new stuff.
Yeah.
You know, years later and everything, just because it's so jam packed.
I'm sure in 5 years when I listen to it, I'll be like, dude, Regenerated is sick. You know?
Dude, Regenerated. I'm glad that Regenerated like stood out to you. Though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that one stood out. Assaulter was really fun too. Just that, you know, riffing, and I've heard Enemy Within a million times from you. I've heard Truth Denied a ton from you.
Yeah.
But
I understand. I
cool.
hear
You ready for Absolution 1, Final Offense, and then Absolution 2, From the Abyss?
Yep. Let's do it, man.
Here we go. Kevin, this music is just crazy. It's just crazy.
I agree though. There is some SYL vibes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I do agree with that.
That's pretty fun. This came out in 05.
Yeah. This is my Final Offense.
Empires of the Worlds. It's really, is a little more like, okay, yeah. First bit, like, kind of, orchestral, and,
The ride there is, sorry, I got
and then this is part 2, I take it.
Within the endless darkness of your beast.
Oh, shoot. This is a freaking Event Horizon, man.
Yeah, for real.
Scary.
Destiny.
So it gets pretty nuts there, huh?
Yeah. I think that's a great instrumental section, man. I think that's great. I'm gonna give that an 8.5. I like the way it jumps into just like some of the choir stuff gets a little distracting and stuff, but there's moments when it hits really freaking hard, and I like that. There's that one little point when the guitar guy's like, bing, 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 bing. Like it just. I don't know. It's very theatrical and everything. And you were mentioning during the video, like, there's definitely some Septic Flesh vibes with the orchestral stuff.
Yeah.
And I can see that also, you know. But, yeah, and it also had some rocking out moments and everything. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think that was a pretty solid instrumental section, you know. Way to get you into it.
Dude, that kind of came and went. Like, there wasn't really much I was able to really grab onto, you know. It really kind of, it's sad that I would even rate it because it's kind of like,
dun, dun, dun,
I don't know what I even
dun,
took from it, you know?
Dun, dun, dun.
I think I'll give it a 5, 5.5.
Okay, I guess
That's
6. I know, like
I'll give it a 5.5.
I know you like that part when it's just like G,
when it was like soloing and rocking out, like that part was like kind of cool.
Yeah,
but I don't know. A lot of it was just kind of just there.
You weren't really digging the.
I don't remember it, but no.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Absolution 3 with Absolution?
Yeah, let's do it. I like this song. This song's great, man.
His Destiny, remember?
Yeah, Disintegration's great too, but Absolution's also great.
Oh, here we go. Here is Absolution.
At least a lot of the songs are fairly short.
Yeah.
Nothing is really in the 6 minute.
No. This is kind of interesting though. A little like Mac Rosa or something.
this riff thing.
Yeah. I'm just really good about this next part, man.
I like that there's some acoustics in there. They
Yeah.
rarely do any acoustics elsewhere. That's what makes this song stand out.
Yeah.
It's so sick, dude. Like, get check out of that. Dude, freaking
Madness.
banger, man. Freaking awesome. What do you think, bro?
I guess it's my turn now.
Yeah.
I did
It
like
just-
the acoustics.
yeah,
I
it
did like
sucks
the
because-
apocalyptic vibe.
Dude,
what sucks?
you always get so fatigued by the end, and I'm like, dude, the last two songs are freaking great, but you're only...
Absolution is like they turned into a different band for like the last little bit of their album. It's very strange, because it's not as like riff oriented, and it's not as like I don't know. It's just very different. I don't know. I don't know how to really rate this stuff. You're all while I was going. That was just funny. I think this one's probably six or 6 point, like a 6 probably. I think it's good, but it's just I don't know. I think I'm a little fatigued on the vocals.
Yeah,
you know.
you always get fatigued by
I
the
get
end of this
fatigued
album,
on the
man.
vocals.
And it sucks, man, because
sorry.
you get so fatigued at the
I'm sorry,
end.
Kevin.
I'm giving that a freaking 10, man. Absolution is freaking
gosh.
awesome, man. I love that. And the way the drummer's just like, da, da, and it goes back in, like, oh, freaking Absolution is great, man. And I like the choirs in the beginning, you know.
Yeah, it's very apocalyptic.
Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
And then
I
the
love
song
the
kind of just
acoustics.
goes like it doesn't even like feel like it has a chorus. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to rate some of these ones because it's
Yeah.
like
It is
I'm not
different.
like super enjoying it, but there's parts that are like pretty cool. There's parts that are interesting,
Yeah.
but I'm not like
I just feel like
Yeah.
I've played this album enough. I need to not play it around you. The only way you can ever have this album grow is if you just do it on your own. That
Possibly.
there's nothing I can say or do to
Yeah.
change your mind. It's just something that has to be discovered. But I agree with you though that little that does sound like a Manticora kind of riff to
Yeah.
me because they like their repetitive kind of things like that and
Yeah,
and
I
it
like
just it's freaking awesome. So
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah,
We'll leave it at that.
yeah.
You ready for the last song? Absolution
Yeah.
Part 4, Disintegration.
Well, I'm not sleepy. I tell you what, I'm not sleepy.
You're awake.
You know, yeah.
You're ready. Here is Disintegration. This almost feels like they're back to, you know, yeah, more the first half of the album. Yeah. I remember this. like building something really cool.
All right, Heavy Debbie. You know,
Bro was going for it, man. He was freaking losing it.
For this one, I'm gonna give this one a 9. I do feel like like we were talking a bit. I do feel like the chorus is a little bit deflating, you know. But like I like that groove kind of
I do like that.
I do like that. You know, that's pretty solid and everything. And then all the parts that they did in Absolution, I like too. Just that, and I like the way the drums. It's like on 13, it's more like, but in this he drives it. He's just,
yeah.
I like that. I like that they take that and make it a little more intense in Disintegration.
I like that too. Yeah.
It really drives the point and everything. And so, yeah, what a great song. Like it's not a perfect 10 for me, but I still really like Disintegration.
Yeah, I give it a 7. I do like it better than some of the other parts for Absolution. And I did I'm finding a pattern here where most of the songs, I like the verse sections more than the choruses themselves.
Yeah.
Like the choruses, like the bridge and the build up and the riffing and stuff in this song, the sliding riff or whatever, is really cool. And I like how it is building that intensity. But when he comes into the anger, it's so deflating. Like it's almost like, man, we were building up for that chorus, you know?
Sure.
I don't know. But with that being said, there was some really cool guitar riffing and stuff. And I think it's a great song, but there's just things holding me back from falling in love with it, you know?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of these songs have some aspects I really enjoy and then some aspects I don't enjoy. Like it's a very mixed bag kind of album for me. I mean, granted, the scores are generally good. Like I still like this album, but
it's mostly above
it's
average,
almost like it's more like I feel like I wish I could enjoy it much more, you know?
Yeah.
Because it does have some great qualities to it.
Can you kind of see why I like this album so much?
It's like a drum dream for you. A drummer's dream album. Yeah, right? I think that's the right answer.
I think, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that there's something special about this album, man. But I guess let's have you add up the scores and everything while you're doing that and everything. Yeah. Excuse me. I'll share my final thoughts and then have you do the scores, share your final thoughts, and then I'll just kind of close out the video. But
sounds good.
like I said, man, I feel like people are really sleeping on this album. Like I'm just kind of
I've never heard anybody ever really talk about this album.
No, me neither.
Share, yeah,
I remember whenever I got Chad into this album, he was kind of blown away, I think. You know, because it's like I'm not the aggressive guy. I don't listen to like it's funny because I like Snot, I like Biomechanical, heck, I like Strapping a Lad, but most of the heavy stuff I like tends to be more of the melodic, kind of thoughtful type stuff, not straight up aggression. You know what I mean? And so it's just kind of whenever I shared this with Chad, he was just kind of like, dang, but I think it's because of all the interesting patterns and maybe the prog elements and the guitar work and stuff. It's just I don't feel like it's like any other, I don't know, groove metal band or whatever. They're just way too out there to be like another groove metal band.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for sure. They definitely take a lot of left turns on this album.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is maybe that's the weird thing, is you and I, we've always gotten into the weird bands from the genre. It's when we got into Psy also, it's you know, we weren't even big black metal guys or whatever, but Psy just had that nice interesting edge to them.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing, is if you're just straight up an aggressive band or whatever, I'm gonna be like boring, you know. But when you add in these types of drum patterns and the guitar and everything, and also his vocals and stuff, like I'm just like, dude, these guys are really different, you know. So I just, like I said, I think people are sleeping on this. I think it's a fantastic album, you know, and yeah, I've been listening to it for 17 years now or so. Time flies, but yeah, I just. And again, shout out to the drummer of this band. In fact, I'm going to pull up his name because you know he needs a shout out.
Recognition.
Yeah, dude, this guy, Matt C. I don't know what your last name. I don't know what your last name is, but he really freaking delivered, and he was so tight and everything, and he. Yeah, dude, it's just
sick.
It's just
shout out to
man.
both the guitarists too, because there's some good playing on there. I do think that this is a little bit of a frustrating album for me. But there are some elements that I do really like. I like a lot of the riffing and stuff. I think the vocalist is really talented, even if it's not my, like, even if, like, some of the stylistic choices made don't cater to what I enjoy, I guess, you know? It's still, I could see that it still is very talented. And I assume the drums are good, too, you know? I assume that because Kevin says so. I believe him. I have no reason to doubt that, you know? I think the bass was probably good, too, but I so much is happening, I guess I hadn't really, you know... But anyways, there's just some aspects of the music that don't catch me as much as, like, guitars and vocals are the things, or pianos and stuff, are the things that I usually pay attention to most, whereas, like, the bass and the drums, like, I don't pay that as much attention, so... But, with that being said... I do think it's a good album, and I'm going to tell you all the scores so that you guys can, you know, so you guys could either love one person or the other person or whatever, or just be like, no, man, I didn't make it this far in the video.
Yeah.
You know?
Who listens to Biomechanical? Because I've never met anyone who listens to Biomechanical. You know,
well, who finishes our videos?
Yeah,
they're all
I've never
like
met anyone.
I've never met anyone that finishes our videos like 2 hours of freaking. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It's a big commitment to freaking listen to us.
Commitment, yeah.
Go on about freaking whatever, you know. So anyway, sorry, just a side tangent there. So the score we gave Biomechanical, The Empires of the Worlds. Kevin gave it the high score. He gave it an 8.8, and I gave it the lower score. I gave it a 6.76. So the overall score we give it is 7.78. So pretty respectable.
Yeah,
pretty
but
good.
It didn't get higher than
I know,
Kite. So what
That's
the
fine
hell,
with me.
man? Like, what the hell, man?
That's fine by me. Kite,
dude, they're like no 10 for me. Like there's no 10. No,
I'm sorry.
It is what it is. I just it does deflate me because every time I've shown you this album, by the time we're halfway through, it's like you're just really trying to struggle to get through.
Yeah,
you know,
the absolution section kind of.
Yeah, and so I don't blame you. You know, it is
it's
what
like
it is.
It's like Existence onward doesn't really capture me as. I mean, Truth Denied is probably my favorite out of those.
That last
out of the last
5 or 6,
like 5 or 6 tracks,
but it's just it's funny because like a lot of these songs are pretty short and stuff. But I do feel like this album wears you down and everything, you know, and it is what it is. But once you start picking up on it, once you like, you know, things start clicking, then I think it's going to be enjoyable.
This probably takes a ton of work to really get into, and I don't know if I have it into me to put in the time and the work and the effort.
Yeah, well, you know, like
sorry,
no, it's all
bro.
good. No, thanks for doing this with me and everything. It's
welcome.
cool to it's cool to, you know, do all these bands and everything, especially all this stuff that's like super underrated.
I do agree.
Whatever.
They do need more exposure, dude, because I bet there's tons of metalheads out there that haven't heard this, and I'm kind of like, you should hear it because it is pretty talented, pretty good, or they are pretty talented.
But yeah, so those are our thoughts on, you know, Biomechanical, you know, Empires of the Worlds and everything. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're Forgotten Legends of Sound, and you got the next pick, bro. So
next pick.
Yeah. See ya.